Worrying is like praying every single day with all of your power on all the things you don't want to happen. Prepare for all your biggest fears to be realized and put on display for the world to see. Nobody's ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. My favorite quote right now by Joseph Campbell is, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasures you seek." My cave was bankruptcy. The first time somebody brought that word up to me, it was devastating. This can't be real. Chapter 11. At some point in every young entrepreneur's journey, you stop doing the fun stuff. When the fun stuff stops, you become the one thing you were trying to avoid all along: the suit for hire. Chapter 11 is the beginning of the end. And so when I read this chapter specifically, and all of the chaos and all of the seeds that are being planted, they are the seeds that eventually grow to be the destruction of everything. And so there's a theme in the book where I always ask myself, live to fight another day or die right now. And obviously, I always chose live to fight another day, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. When I look back and I reflect and I see what happens in this moment and the writing on the wall and the horrible, gut-wrenching decisions that I needed to make, or that I was forced to make, if I had a crystal ball, probably would have just chose to die right there. But I didn't. I chose to fight another day. And we were able to extend that for a couple more years, always growing and grinding and trying to get it done. But chapter 11 is just one of those moments where I look back on it now and it's just horrible. Field guide: what you need to know. Trust your gut and follow your core life values. How to do it: write down your beliefs. What are your tried and true values that have never let you down? Make a mission statement for yourself and list out your core values. Then take all of that information and create a filter for making big decisions that incorporates your value system. And then there's more to it. But basically, the long and short of it is, I now have a filter for business ventures and people I do business with because of my reflections from who I was forced to do business with in chapter 11. My gut was sounding an alarm that these people are not good people, and this isn't good. And I'm not really feeling good about the situation at hand. But we had been fighting the fight for so long. We were in the middle of a desert, and we were just dehydrated, starving to death, about to die from dehydration, and someone's standing there with a canteen of water, and they're like, "I'll give this to you, and you can keep going on your journey, and I'll give you a backpack full of supplies, but you just have to sign right here." And we're looking around, there's no other options. We're about to frickin' die. And I signed on the dotted line, and that was kind of the end. I didn't know it at the time, but it was basically the end. But having that filter is unbelievably productive for how I approach people and new businesses I get involved with. Because before having the filter, you just kind of only trust your gut. But there's different phases to trusting your gut, and there's different situations, and there's different red flags or green lights that you can learn from over time, and you can basically just have a checklist. It doesn't dictate whether or not you do it or not, but it's a really great indicator for you to go, that's a lot of no's on the filter. Do I really want to move forward with this business venture, with this person, with 4 no's? 1, I can think through. 2, you ask yourself, one of the questions in my filter is, what am I choosing to ignore about this person or this situation? And so you go back, you go, okay, well, what am I choosing to ignore? Why is that a no? What's the reason behind it? Nothing's really black and white, but you can create these filters that allow you to see the situation more clearly. And that's what I learned basically from chapter 11. What you need to know. You must evolve faster than everyone else around you if you are to maintain the ability to lead by examples. This is difficult for young leaders because my board was much older than me. A lot of my employees were much older than me. And so how do you bridge the gap between a 30-year-old and a 50-year-old and also be ahead multiple steps so that you're leading by example and the decisions that you're making are the correct ones that everybody can feel confident about to follow with full enthusiasm, full conviction? And the easiest way to do that is find a mentor. I didn't have a mentor. I wanted one. I sent out some LinkedIn messages to very successful CEOs that never replied back to me. That's why when people reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram or email me saying, hey, Greg, do you have 2 minutes? I go, I do. Because I sent those notes out a couple years ago and everybody gave me the good old-fashioned fuck off. And so I want to leave things better than when I found them. And so I do recommend finding a mentor. I didn't have one. And so I had to create the information and the values that I thought a mentor would give me. I called them momentary mentors. And so whatever situation I was in, if it was crisis, if it was growth, if it was leadership, if it was the ability to be self-disciplined, whatever it was, whatever topic, I would go find a book on it. I would read the book and I would highlight the traits in the book of the person I was reading about that I really respected, that I wanted to have. And so then I would put a plan in place, and it could be something as simple as a reminder, be more like this, or eliminate this weakness. And I would treat each book almost like a book report that I was doing in school, which I didn't do in school. And then I would try and develop the habits that a mentor would want me to develop so that I could stay ahead of the game. So that was my attempt to evolving faster than everybody else. I was just a ferocious reader. I was always listening to audiobooks. I was always reading. I was always asking people questions. And then I always referred back to the original rare recordings of Napoleon Hill's lectures, which I still listen to this day. I'm actually listening to it right now. And it's every time I listen to it, it's something new. I listened to it in the beginning to brainwash myself, probably for 6 years straight. Every time I got in the car, that's all I listened to. I know the exact minutes of my favorite speeches and the things that he says. But even today, I'll listen to it and I'm like, I totally missed that whole concept the last time I listened to it. So I'm always learning. I'm always trying to improve myself or optimize myself. And that comes from the consumption of information and then testing it to see whether or not it actually works in real life or not. What you need to know: prepare for all your biggest fears to be realized and put on display for the world to see. Nobody's ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. I avoided my fears. I used them as fuel to get me almost like the ball behind Indiana Jones when he's running. Those were my fears. And I'm like, well, I'm in good shape. I can run forever. Eventually, you're going to tire out. The ball's going to run over you. And that happened with my fears. And my favorite quote right now by Joseph Campbell is, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasures you seek." My cave was bankruptcy. I never wanted that associated with my name. I never said that word out loud. I wouldn't think about that word. And chapter 11 is the first time somebody brought that word up to me, and it was devastating. And I went home and I was just in shock. I'm like, is this where I'm at? I mean, literally 4 seconds ago, we're the biggest thing on the planet. And you're telling me this is an option right now? This can't be real. But again, I avoided it at all costs instead of researching it, doing a deep dive into it, learning the different aspects of it. I don't want to say mastering it, which I unfortunately know a lot about it now. But if I had known more about it, I think I would have approached the moments we were in way differently. My only option, which I kind of like, was success. It was like, I have to win or die trying. There's different aspects to that, and there's different timelines that are associated with whether or not you're winning or you're losing. And so the cave you fear to enter holds the treasures you seek. I entered that cave. And the craziest part is, yes, the Tessie Mae's journey did not end the way that I thought it was going to end. But every goal I had for myself in life that I set out, the goals I wrote down in 2005, right when I graduated college, they all came true after Tessie Mae's ended and after I entered that cave. And so it's a paradox. It's a mind fuck when you take somebody like myself who will never quit, who will die on a treadmill, who will, any competition we're in, I'm going full tilt. Thumb wrestling, we're doing it. Rock, paper, scissors, bring the noise. Staring contest, come get it. Indian leg wrestling, your hamstrings better be strong. And then you got to process, I had to process entering this cave. What does this mean for my journey? Where do I go from here? And I heard Jocko on his podcast from a while ago was talking about, I think it was a field manual from World War II or World War I or something. And it said, if you are still breathing, the failure you are experiencing is only psychological. Valid point? I mean, yes, it was money related. Yes, a company is no longer under my control. But in the grand scheme of things, those are personal problems. Those are psychological problems. I got to deal with that bullshit. That's something that me, as a healthy, father of 4 with a loving family and a loving wife with great friends and people surrounding me. Like, I have to deal with that bullshit. Okay, that's a Greg problem. But again, when you're in the shit, when you're asshole deep in alligators, you can't think outside of winning. Winning is the only way it's going to happen. And obviously, I continue to take that mentality for the most part, but it's evolved. It has shifted. I think there's more wisdom in my approach now because of the baptism by fire that I have taken. So that is chapter 11. It is the beginning of the end. I don't want to give away too much. You're going to read the rest of the book, but you'll see how all of the characters in chapter 11 come back to slowly and methodically destroy Tessie Mays from the inside.